Welcome to the Orange Flag podcast. It was a busy week of racing, and everyone but Nicole had a result to be happy about, but she was at a race in person, so it was okay. I'm Austin.
I'm Aries.
I'm Nicole. Nurburgring 24 hours happened. Did not have a result to be happy about in that. I had a result to be happy about with the qualifying. Hell of a lap from Kevin Estra. Race, not quite so much. Honestly, though, hell of a race from them, too, because the penalty was BS. Kevin and Larry both say we'd have done the same thing, and the vibe you get from Chan and Thomas's posts are that they probably would have done the same thing. I'm not a racing driver, and I'm sure as heck not a world-class GT driver like those guys are.
Are you sure?
So, I have a sim, and I crash every time I try to drive. So, no, I am not, in fact, a world-class GT racer. If they're all saying that what Kevin did was correct and appropriate, and the Aston drove by a billion blue flags and left a gap, then that's what I'm agreeing with, because I'm not an expert and they are. So that's kind of where I am with that.
So we all expected the Dacia Logan to be the slowest car. Surprise, surprise, it wasn't. I think it was like two positions away from being lost. So 1 or 2 positions away from being lost. So yay for us, who like the little ones, the underdogs. Even though
That's
they
everybody.
didn't finish.
I was gonna say, who doesn't
Even-
like the underdogs?
That's a good question.
I mean, specifically that car.
Yeah,
I think that everybody paying attention to that race was paying attention to the Logan.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
It's always fun, the random cars that show up in the Nurburgring 24 hours.
Yeah, it's part of the fun.
It kinda, I think everybody was kinda gutted because it almost didn't take the start, and then thanks to the red flag, it did, so we got to see some of it. Sucks that he crashed again, but we did have Logan action in there. And, I know the result was, we've been talking about the result, but, given who was in the lineup, I'm just gonna quietly, time for some Aries nationalism.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yes,
carry
that's why the beginning of the show was the way it is. I'm the only one that didn't have my people win. Everybody else had their people win races. I mean, like, skipping ahead, I did get a red car, red solo cup from Alex Pillow, so, like, it's not all bad, but it looked like Alex Pillow out Scott Dixon, so, like, I thought I was on for a Scott Dixon win, but we'll get to that when we talk about me going to Road America. Let's talk about how it felt like we were writing the broadcast overnight at the Nurburgring, because I was not expecting the broadcast to be talking about Kevin's eyes and how nice of a person he is, because, like, those are both valid points, broadcast people, but like, not something I was expecting the broadcast to say. Like, there was just a Kevin glazing session for 24 hours. That's what that broadcast was.
Yes.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. And then it took a short break at one point to talk about the Aaron brothers. And I was like, okay, so it has gone from Nick's talking points to my talking points. Are we sure we aren't on this broadcast team?
They should let us do... No, what we should do is a live stream Twitch 24-hour broadcast for either Le Mans or Nürburgring next year.
I was gonna say...
if I don't go to Le Mans.
I was gonna say, we do have Spa next week.
Yeah, Kevin's not doing that.
Wow. So it's only if Kevin's there.
Okay, would the commentary not be funnier if Kevin's doing the race?
From you, yes.
Yes, exactly. No, I have on my Cam Jam No Kevin shirt because Spa is this week, because we have Bastion instead.
Yes, yes.
Oh
A
yeah,
very me replacement.
we did the 24 at Le Mans the week before, and then we did it all over again this week, and then we're doing it again. So
Yes.
we can never get enough.
Yes. Which, speaking of, that kind of leads into the 54, because we have two boys from the 54 of Lokartog and Bastion Bus, both doing Spa. Separate cars, but both doing Spa. They had a good result at Nurburgring in the fact that if you asked any of the four guys in that car if they were going to be on the podium, they all have said they absolutely did not see that happening in literally everything on social media. Loke literally was doing race recaps throughout the race and was like, "We're P7," and very excited about the fact they even got to P7. So needless to say, they were all very, very excited that they got P3, and you know what? I'm very proud of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
At
seeing them
least there
do
were
well.
some happy Porsche boys on the podium.
Yes, there were some very happy Porsche boys on the podium. But also kind of, yes, not yours. But also talking about the triple 24 hours that's going on. I guess Jordan Taylor wanted to be involved, but in a different triple, because it just got announced that he's doing NASCAR trucks. He won't be at Spa,
Yes.
but he will be doing truck series. So he did, Le Mans, and then he did Watkins, and now he's doing Lime Rock for truck series.
That's random.
Yeah, different
Yes.
three-peat.
It's a strange triple, but I mean, go for it, Jordan, I guess. We know I don't like Wayne Taylor racing, so
I don't
go for it, Jordan.
either, but I was like, he's doing it.
He is.
Choices were made.
Yes. Okay, but one thing that we do need to discuss that happened in the broadcast, is Kevin's, making of his little post-stint drink.
Yeah, whether it's electrolytes or whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever his drink that he was making in his little Red Bull cup. Just didn't use a scoop to put the powder in the thing and was pouring it directly from the tub. Which got captured on the broadcast for some reason,
very violently shaking the tub too.
Again, the broadcast just randomly showing Kevin for no reason,
Yes. But also, Kevin, you obviously knew the scoop was in there, and it wasn't that you couldn't find the scoop, because you can see in the video he's holding the scoop in the container with one hand while
directly talking to Kevin we do in this show. Every week there is we directly address Kevin portion. And generally it's to dunk on him. Sorry,
it made no sense. The scoop is in his hand as he's shaking this powder. This makes zero sense. You're getting the powder everywhere. It's not that hard to use the scoop that you literally have a hold of.
Yes.
Also, how are you supposed to enter that into macros, y'all? If we don't know if
does Kevin track macros?
No, I'm just saying if it was us.
Right, yes, Kevin is not participating in Don't Disappoint Larry.
How am I supposed to know what measurement to put in if I'm just shaking this container?
Kevin does track macros and just was estimating. This is probably one scoop.
I don't think it was. I think most of the scoop ended up on the counter.
Okay, well then it's a half a scoop. I mean, it's better to say it's a whole scoop than a half a scoop if it's actually a half a scoop.
Yeah.
Once again, Kevin is not participating in Don't Disappoint Larry, to our knowledge. So, It'd be very odd if Kevin was participating in Don't Disappoint Larry.
I don't judge.
Given
I
that
don't
they're,
judge.
teammates and stuff.
Yes, but I don't
It's
judge.
it's probably just considered tracking your macros if you're, Larry's teammate.
No, I like to think all of them call it Don't Disappoint Larry.
Larry
Including-
calls it Don't
I was gonna
Disappoint
say,
Larry.
including Larry. He can't disappoint himself, okay?
I mean, Larry is, at least vaguely aware of Don't Disappoint Larry because he has interacted with our tweets about it.
Yes. So he knows, at least. But I'm just saying. With all his
Yes.
posts recently about, hyping himself up and everything, maybe he does partake in calling it Don't Disappoint Larry.
Yes, it is possible. Don't Disappoint Larry apparently needs to involve a lot of pills because,
Yes.
my god, the stack that Larry posted online this morning, that was a lot of stuff.
So many supplements.
Okay, I mean, he did just get in a big crash. Maybe some of that is, recovery specific.
Maybe.
Very glad, by the way, that Larry is in fact okay
Yes.
from his big crash.
Mhm.
Really unfortunate that he wasn't able to do the race because, that car was fast. So
Yes, but his health is more important. So
yes, and hopefully he's already feeling fine and will be perfectly well for Brazil next month, which I believe is the next race he's doing.
Aries, that's your cue to hold up your flag.
Yeah, you were supposed to hold up
You
your
were
flag,
supposed to
Aries. We're
hold up
talking
your
about
flag.
Brazil. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Not just Brazil.
And then
also
they come
my
to
birthday
Texas
weekend.
after that. Nice. Yeah. Next two WEC rounds are very podcast coded because
Yes.
they go to Brazil and then they come to Texas.
Yes, what
Actually,
Yay,
doesn't
Texas.
my state anymore? So
Yeah.
That's why. You see,
Okay, but
this is
IMSA goes twice.
yes, IMSA does come twice.
this is probably the only time I will ever wish I lived in Sao Paulo and not where I currently live, because then it would be no issue just making my way to the track. And then maybe I could smuggle myself into someone else's stuff and then maybe go to Texas.
You
Except
mean
I
the
wouldn't,
theory
because
of folding yourself into luggage?
Yeah,
Yes.
but maybe he could just ask Matt or Kevin or somebody to bring him to Texas to unite the podcast.
Yeah, but then I just realized it would be way too early, because July, and then there's nothing in August, and then your
Yeah.
race is only in September. So what on earth would I be doing in the meantime? Living
Going on
inside a
vacation with
suitcase.
Matt.
Yes, vacationing with the boys.
Is Matt even doing Brazil? Isn't that one of the questionable races?
It is one of the questionable
Questionable
races of
races.
if Matt or Jam are doing it. So unclear. And if they aren't doing it, it's gonna be somebody else because they seem to just be throwing anyone.
Yeah.
A questionable race. I'm gonna start calling that round the questionable race now.
I mean, is it going to be a race that they just do two-man? I mean, obviously all of these races, with the exception of Le Mans, are capable to be done two-man because Cadillac did it last year. Earl and Alex ran every one of these races as a two-man squad except for Le Mans. So, it's doable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Porsche
Yeah,
hasn't said.
Porsche
Yeah,
keeps
6 hours.
saying they're doing some races. They
Right.
don't say
Some.
what races, they just say some races. And then the one that they
So
couldn't
it's
go
winter
to
down
be
there, though, right?
FE guys in. Yeah, it
Yes.
is.
Because, the reason
Yes,
that
it
they're
is.
talking about doing three-man for Coda is the heat.
Mm-hmm.
To give the guys recovery time, because last year it was 100 degrees for that. race, you know? And if it's cooler in Brazil and not going to be 100 degrees, maybe they could in fact do it two-man. They haven't done a two-man race all year, so I don't know why they'd just randomly decide to do a two-man race.
And
also, there's no reason Matt and Jam can't do Brazil.
Yeah.
There's not a clash, right?
I also get, like, the reason they threw our FE boys in for the one Matt and Jam couldn't do was Le Mans prep. So it
Right.
could be that
Right,
they
'cause-
do two-man, but I'm not counting on it.
Yeah. I remembered there being some reason we didn't think they were going to do Brazil. Like, aside from the fact that it was winter.
Besides that.
Because they don't do most sports, so there's no... Unless they're doing P2 stuff or GT stuff at most sport, like, that's that same weekend. But other than that, they've got no reason that they can't. Which neither of them have a GT ride announced. I mean, the only thing would be if AO is going to run Rexy and Roxy, with one of them being a GTD normal.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh no, dude.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Remains to be seen.
Does.
See?
Since we got super sidetracked onto IMSA, Watkins Glen was a complete freaking mess. I didn't watch much of the race, but the
Oh, it
little
was a
bits
mess.
that I was following along with, yeah, PPM was not doing all that hot. I mean, fantastic fourth place overcoming BOP through strategy for, as again, I have my Cam Jam No Kevin shirt on. Great job, guys, because, like, that car got BOP'd to Mars, like, which, I mean, I think we all knew it was coming.
Yes.
Especially, like, after the fact that they had to manually adjust BOP to get them, you know, barely getting a podium in Detroit. Obviously, we knew a huge BOP adjustment was coming.
I'm still shocked that Detroit was cleaner than Watkins Glen.
Well,
Like,
the
I get it,
weather was some of it.
Yeah, it was the weather.
Like, I get it, shorter race, less cars over there and all that, but I don't know, like, we didn't spend half of the Detroit race under safety car, which was the case at the Glen.
Well, that was, like, a talking point on the broadcast, is like, this is the first time since Sebring that, like, all the cars are back on track. Like, it was probably going to lead to more chaos than we've seen in the most recent races, which is, and on top of that, the weather. So they flat out said it on the broadcast, like, expect this race to be chaos. And this race was chaos. So
Yes.
it's no surprise. Like, I could have told you that this race was going to be chaotic.
Yeah.
The second I saw, like, how much it was downpouring, and, like, the fact, again, that it was just every car back on track.
The 3 hours and 7 minutes of the Glen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the rain was a huge factor. It seemed like it sure seemed like almost every car was having just handling issues, which resulted in a lot of them crashing. And then some, like, car related issues with the rain. So
Yeah, I mean, it felt like half the LMP2 field just, like, crashed into each other. We had the 11 without a windshield, which then went into the pits, and then at some point came back into the race, which is great. Good job to that crew. The 60 didn't have a wiper. Colin was just racing blind, apparently, which, you know, considering the result they got at the race, good for them. There was just a lot of, like, weather conditions.
I am curious, after Le Mans with the limited visibility because of the bugs, and then this, like, how much do these guys actually look while they're driving? and how much of it is pure muscle memory of knowing the track. Because, like, on those in-car shots at Le Mans, you could not see through that windshield.
No.
So, like, how much of what they were doing was just pure muscle memory and glimpses of markers. And same thing with the 60.
I feel like I've watched an interview, I can't remember, like, who it was of, who said, like, a good amount of it is, like, muscle memory. Like, yeah, it helps to be able to see, but, like, a good amount of it is, like, muscle memory.
And I guess, like, Nurburgring's a good example, too, because you're out driving your headlights the entire time there. I mean, you are not seeing what's in front of you through your headlights. You're seeing what's in front of you because you know it's there, because you know the track. So that's pretty wild, actually. Like, specifically driving with no wiper in a downpour is crazy.
Yeah. The 11 did, like, flat out say, like, because of the rain was why that crash happened. Like, it was, like, the rain plus the fact of, like, the way cars were moving was why the 11 just, like, didn't see the car until the very last minute. He also flat out said, like, he didn't realize he lost, like, the windshield on the car either, like, until he felt like a raindrop hit him and was like, oh, I don't have a windshield.
Jeez.
The best part, though, is the video of the car getting to the pit where it's just the wiper with no windshield just going back and forth.
Nice.
But yeah, there was a lot of just, like, even once the rain, like, went away, just, like, the issues that were happening. Like, I can't keep count of how many times the PAF 9 just, like, died and then came back.
Lamborghini. That's
Yeah.
the Iron Links, people.
That's not the Lamborghini story of the race, though.
No, it is not.
What was going on with the GTP Lamborghini. You know, like, those guys driving that long of a race with no driver aids. You know, people, there were a few teams that were doing stuff like that in the IndyCar race, but that's a third of the length of this IMSA race.
Yeah.
So that's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I don't think anyone realized that, like, Lamborghini didn't have, like, cool suits, a drink system, or AC in it until Roman Grosjean was just, like, interviewed about how he was faring with the heat and just, like, flat out dropped all this information about the Lamborghini.
He basically said this is the hottest he's ever been in a car, and you remember the man caught on fire.
Yes.
So...
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I will say...
Absolutely crazy.
Wasn't the only GTP that didn't have AC, because apparently the Valkyrie's AC broke during the race. So they also weren't doing great. And Roman DeAngeli's, like, in his interview basically said, like, him and Ross were having to do, like, a 1-for-1 when it came for, like, strategy of putting the guys in the car to, like, combat it. So fun.
I think it's cool these cars have air conditioning. Like, you think of race cars and you're not thinking, like, yeah, they've got AC. Like, it's pretty cool when it works.
Yes, when it works.
When it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, at least, I was gonna say, at least they're not, so far, because I could see this becoming a rule if it becomes a problem and other occurrences. Like, I thought they like monitor the temperature inside the cockpit, so I think if it passes a certain, if it goes above a certain threshold, you need to fix it.
The air temperature wasn't that hot there, though, that, like, that's something that you get into a concern with when you're racing somewhere and it's 100+ degrees outside the car.
Yeah.
Ambient air temp, like, it was still cool enough that, yes, it was bad, but it wasn't, like, meatball flag them bad.
Yeah. I will say, maybe the reason that Penske, well, Porsche Penske, was not part of these problems is because Penske NASCAR was part of these problems because apparently Ryan Blaney's cool suit like failed during the race. And I've determined that maybe if like one part of the Penske team does well, it seems the other side of Penske can't do well.
Yeah. I mean, none of Penske did all that great this
No.
weekend because
Oh, don't remind
we
me.
will.
Don't remind me.
Yeah.
I wasn't even talking about your car,
I
Aries.
wasn't
I was
even-
more talking about Joseph Newgarden just forgetting how to drive at my race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
figured that out.
What
It
was
didn't
that
really apply.
crash?
Yeah, it didn't really apply for this weekend, but maybe the, equipment not like failing for PPM is because it failed for NASCAR.
Maybe. Yes. The big final thought from me for Watkins is just the swing in BOP. It's so heavily in favor of Cadillac right now. Acura has somehow managed to just be steady. They're the only team other than PPM to have both cars win a race. They've been consistently on the podium along with PPM. I assume BOP is coming for them next. Would be my guess, having won 2 races now, been on the podium in 2 other races. It's probably coming for them next, but I still think this is better than what's going on in WEC. Like, yes, this has negatively affected the car I support, but it is still more fair, more equitable than what was going on in WEC, because like there have been multiple other cars, like obviously prior to Detroit no other car had won other than the 6 and the 7, but there were a multitude of other cars on the podium. Like the 60 was on the podium, the 93 was on the podium, the 24 was on the podium. Like it wasn't just the same exact cars every time, the way it kind of has been counting out Le Mans, the way it kind of has been so far in WEC. It's been the Ferrari and Alpine show.
Yes, it's the way Porsche is being treated in IMSA for BOP is how Ferrari should be treated.
Yes. And what's crazy is IMSA has a longer rolling BOP. They use like 5 races, I think, and WEC only uses 3. So like WECs should be more adjusted by now, quicker. And like it makes sense that IMSA's took longer. But that hasn't happened, and it's frustrating to see kind of on both sides, honestly.
Yeah. Well, my final Watkins point, because it wouldn't be me talking about Watkins if I didn't mention the 60, because the 60 is my other car. But also, this is not the correct soda, but we're still going to talk about it because we do soda analysis of drivers, and this felt important.
Yes.
So everyone gather around for another soda analysis, because at Le Mans we learned Matt Campbell's a Coca-Cola drinker. At Watkins Glen, we have learned that Tom Blomqvist is also a Coca-Cola drinker because he gets out of the car celebrating with Colin, and then after they're done celebrating, a Coca-Cola can just appears for him. So add him to the list of drivers that drink soda. But also, another great part of that podium, random hot dog hats. They were great,
Yes.
and I loved it very much. We need more of that. Thank you. That is all.
Guess we can move on to NASCAR.
Yes, NASCAR was where we did see a good result. I guess all 3 of us were very happy about it in Xfinity. We had our little Connor Zilish finally taking his first oval win, even though it wasn't a triangle. And even better was the fact
It's
that
an oval. It's an oval.
It is a
still-
triangle. It is a
still
triangle.
counts, but it is a triangle, but it's technically an oval.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just messing around with geometry, and even better even better was the fact that Jesse Love was the one who came second. So the best friends could going 1-2. That was good, lovely to see. And well, I guess we also saw the Dale Jr. making history because it was his first victory as a crew chief.
Yes, he now joins a very small list of people that can say they've won a race as a driver, an owner, and now a crew chief, which is insane. So, pretty cool.
Very cool.
I saw
Very.
someone saying it used to be do it for Dale, now it's do it with Dale.
Yeah. That's gonna get taken out of context. Thank you for the clip, Aries.
Hey, I saw that on the timeline.
I was also gonna say Aries, Junior Motorsports admin, because their like post were all geometry jokes.
No, the only thing I was gonna say is well, you two were running the Nurburgring 24 broadcast, so let me have my share of the fun and take over a NASCAR team's Twitter account.
Yes.
Yes.
And then, like I mentioned, I went to Road America for the IndyCar race. That was my 4th IndyCar race this year. It's my last IndyCar race of the year, unless, I don't know, something crazy happens.
I was gonna say, don't say that, because knowing you, something crazy.
So, I've only got 3 races planned for the rest of the year. If anybody would like to, I don't know, bring me to a race, it can be more than 3, but I've only got COTA for WEC, Petite, and COTA for Formula 1. If anybody would like me to be at any other races, I don't know, but those are the 3 I have left on my 11 race adventure of the year.
I was gonna say, wait, you said Petite, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
COTA, and Petite.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I heard COTA,
two
and then
COTAs.
like, what was the other one?
Yeah, no, Petite. But started out with so if you listen to Off Track with Hinch and Rossi, on the Thursday episode, they were talking about the fundraiser that happens at the Siepkins Resort for Racing for Kids. It includes like celebrity bartenders, which are like various racing drivers, team owners, etc. One of the people that was there was Mike Shank, and I, for whatever reason, decided I was going to wear my Porsche Penske Motorsport t-shirt. The, like, official one, not one of the random ones that I've made and or, like, driver merch. The actual PPM shirt. So I go up and I want to get a selfie with Mike, right? Because, as we know, Renger van de Zande is my favorite IMSA driver. He is... Kevin is not a full-time IMSA driver.
I'm just saying.
I love how no words needed to be said for this clarification to come out.
Kevin does not count as an IMSA driver. Renger is my favorite IMSA driver. Matthew Jaminet is making a really, really good argument.
That's where I was more getting at, was Jam, not Kevin.
I'll wear my Jam hat during the segment.
Just saying.
I go up and I'm like, Mike, ignore my shirt, but can I get a selfie? And he looks, he's like, what's your shirt say? Oh, I gotta get you a new shirt. You gotta get a better team to support. I'm like, no, Mike, you don't understand. I actually do support your team, but also PPM. And then I told him the story that I told after Detroit about when Renger took the lead, and he thought that was funny. But yeah, I can't help that Renger is with, like, not the primary team that I'm supporting this year.
I was gonna say, Mike needs to know that we, as a podcast, have the struggle of this weird PPM MSR balance.
Do.
Mine is more intense than yours, but we, in some
Yes.
ways on this pod, have a weird toss and turn with PPM and MSR, so.
Yeah. We do. And I feel like Mike probably slightly appreciates that. I mean, at least I wasn't like, I hate your team, look at my PPM shirt.
I would like to say we did buy 2 MSR shirts.
Yeah, I have a bunch of
Daytona.
MSR merch that I just
No.
didn't bring with me because I was like, it was the Nurburgring 24 Hours weekend. I needed to wear everything I possibly could to be supporting Kevin. Which included PPM merch.
I'm just saying, we bought more MSR shirts than we bought PPM shirts.
It's because
At
PPM
Daytona.
only has one shirt.
Yes, but I'm just saying.
MSR had cool merch, like the one that said Ranger on it. And everybody else. It also said Alex Pillow.
Yeah.
But, so... if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen the ridiculousness that occurred with the silent auction, where I got a piece of Kyffin Simpson's car. I don't have it with me. Imagine it's here. It was too big for me to get home, so one of my friends had a giant suitcase and brought it back to Texas, and it's getting shipped to me. So it should be here by next episode, hopefully all in one piece.
We hope.
And then, like, so that started at, like, $50 or $100 or some really, really low price. I got it for $350. I always say, like, I'm Kyffin Simpson's only fan. I know there are, sorry, Ryan and Issa and everybody else, but, like, people at this auction did not care about Kyffin. But people at this auction really didn't care about Jack Hawksworth, because
Yes,
I have a
Jack.
Jack Hawksworth suit? Like,
Just
for
Jack.
$170, I have this whole entire race suit living in my apartment that I bought for Dana because it was $170.
Yeah. He deserves better.
Like, how was it that cheap?
I'm disappointed in these people.
And then, so there was a Greg Moore diecast as well that was like, it started really low, like $50 or something, and someone bid 50, someone bid 60, and then Dario Franchitti walks over and writes down some large number. And, like, I'm standing there talking to the guy who was the previous high bid, and he's like, I really want to win this. I was a really big fan. I was like, he was talking to me. I was at, a bunch of races when he was racing. And then Dario walks over, and me and this guy both just, like, well up with tears. Like, did that just happen? So that was, like, really crazy. Dario was also one of the celebrity bartenders, so got a beer from him. I posted a picture of it where, like, he gave me the beer, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Can you act like you're giving me the beer, and I'll take a selfie of us? And he's like, it's gonna look like I'm drinking. Like, you can drink if you want in the picture, too. But he didn't. He just was handing the beer to me. But he was a riot. Absolutely hilarious. Oh, speaking of Dario, actually, my fancy bourbon that I got at the 500 that was signed by him, I got it also signed by Scott, Alex, and Chip. So now it's, like, all signed. Fancy bourbon goes back. And then, like, the Friday autograph session, I had a lot of fun with that because, like, obviously at Detroit, I already went through the full both lines. Like, nothing's changed since Detroit, all the same drivers. I already have these cards basically in triplicate at this point. Like, I've got multiples of everybody's cards. We may do a giveaway, I don't know, later in the season for some driver cards that I have a ton of. That might be fun. But what I was doing instead was getting drivers to say hi to my friends. So
Hand confirm.
that was cool. Yes. I feel like if you let me know that you like a driver, there is a chance you may end up with a video from them. This is eventually gonna backfire on me, and I'm going to end up with like 25 videos from Kevin Estra. I'm aware of this. He's gonna be really annoyed to have to make so many videos saying hi to me. You are going to be with me the whole time that we might see Kevin. He's gonna be like, I'm not making her a video, she's standing right there.
You underestimate me.
Where are you gonna find Kevin when I'm not there?
No, I'm
at
saying
either of these races where we're staying together.
You don't think I would do it with you standing right next to me?
I think that Kevin wouldn't make the video with me standing right there. Yeah. I think he would be like, no, I'm not. You want me to say hi to her? Hi. Like, that's how that's gonna work.
Kevin, it's for the bit. Just to go with it.
Am I supposed to send this to him so that he knows it's for the bit, or we'll tag him in it? Like,
no.
Like, how are we letting him know this is for the bit?
That's up to you.
But yes, that was fun at the autograph session. There was still, some stuff that I wanted to get, some pictures I wanted to get, some stuff I wanted to get signed that was by non-drivers, right? So I was still, as I do, hanging around garages, wandering around the paddock. There was a kid who went to the 500 and had the little starting grid, like all the little pictures of the cars, and he was trying to get stuff signed, so I was kind of helping him out with that, like, hey, look, I see Pato coming, or look, there goes Will Power, like, go run down there, that sort of stuff. And like, his dad really seemed like he appreciated that. And then while I was in the paddock just hanging around, Will Buxton was there, and got a chance to talk to him, or to talk a little bit about the difference between F1 and IndyCar, just as a whole, as a fandom, as an experience. So I'm here at Road America, got Will Buxton with me. Obviously the question everybody's asking, how are you liking IndyCar versus what you were doing?
I'm eating way more than I was on the European tour, so I'm loving it. I'm having the best time ever. It's just a different world, from how open the paddock is and how fan-facing it is, the quality of the racing, the difference in the tracks as well. Like, we've gone from tiny, narrow street track in Detroit to short course oval to one of the greatest road courses in the world here at Road America. It's a total thrill. I love it.
Yeah, I've been going to F1 races myself since 2002, so only just started going to IndyCar races.
Oh, cool.
And everything you said is exactly how I feel about it. So
it's totally different, isn't it? It's just
really
it's just a great vibe. Like, I really enjoy it, and that's really helped, I think, to kind of settle into the series that has been so welcoming and friendly. It just feels like a big warm hug, this place,
does. And I feel like you see the same people, like, multiple races where, I don't know about you, but in F1 for me, I went to one race, so I might have seen you once a year. Versus here, I feel like I'm seeing the same people over and over.
Yeah, and that's really lovely, but at the same time, I think what's great this year as well is to see how many people are attending races, and almost every circuit we go to is reporting like the biggest attendance that they've had in years, and that's huge. Get the sellout at the Indy 500. Long Beach, I think, was the biggest crowd they've had in years as well, so it's a good time for IndyCar.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
That was one of the more fun interviews that I've done. So on Saturday night, one of the nights, we went to dinner. And at the restaurant we were eating at, James Hinchcliffe was there, and he was just being a general menace in this restaurant. Like,
that's about right.
Came over to us, said hi. The table next to us was taking like a family photo at dinner, and he photobombed them like multiple times.
Sounds about right.
It was just really, really funny. He is one of the best personalities.
This sounds like peak hench behavior.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Like,
so that was just a very lot of fun to see. Just to see him goofing off like that away from the track out in public. And then on race day, after warm-up, I was like, I'll go watch, because I was watching a lot of stuff from behind Kyffin's pit. And Kyffin gets out, and he, didn't immediately go walking back towards the garage. And I'm like, hey, Kyffin, can I talk to you for, a couple minutes for the podcast? And he's like, yeah, sure. So just asked him really basic stuff, pretty run-of-the-mill interview, but obviously Kyffin is one of my favorite drivers. Hold on, I can do a hat change. Bam. Because Kyffin has hats now. Here at Road America, got Kyffin Simpson, just got out of the car. So obviously not the best starting spot for today. Got a good strategy to move up through the field, I hope. I mean, I know Detroit, you did some amazing stuff. I was there for that. To just talk about kind of plan for the race.
Yeah, I think we have got some good pace in warm-up there. We felt pretty strong, especially on the long stint. So we'll just try to maximize that as much as possible and try to get some clean air whenever we can. This is also a track that you can pass at much easier than other tracks, so just trying to move forward the best we can on pace.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I hope that we see a great result. Could you talk a little bit about Detroit and about the feeling and the emotion of that best ever finish for you in IndyCar?
Yeah, it was great. Just to get that result was big, and we missed out on Indy GP where I thought we could have had a top 5, so I was pretty disappointed after that, but then to come back at Detroit and get that top 5 was great.
Thank you so much for your time, Kyffin. Good luck today.
Thank you.
So after I talked to Kyffin, I just happened to run into Callum Ilott. Since we are pretty much a sports car and IndyCar podcast, and the guy was driving in sports cars full-time last year and is driving in IndyCar full-time this year, I had to ask him about the difference between WEC and IndyCar.
As one
and that was a really fun interview. I'm here at Road America with Callum Ilott. How are you feeling about the race today?
Pretty good, pretty hot. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's been a while since I've raced in these kind of conditions. But yeah, the car feels good. We made some big improvements yesterday from FP2 into qualifying and got a top 10 quali, so that was good. But yeah, it's going to be long. This track's tough. Got to have a lot of momentum and not lose it.
And then, totally separate question. How are you liking, I guess, the switch from doing WEC last year to coming back into IndyCar this year?
It's two very different championships with very different challenges. Of course, I was with a privateer WEC team in hypercar called Jota, who now is a Cadillac factory team. And yeah, they did an amazing job for what we had, and we had some amazing races. But it was a weird championship, you know, you're only doing 8 races. It's not as busy, but coming here, very different, starting new. Okay, Jota had been doing years and years and years of LMP2. They knew exactly what they were doing in endurance racing. Rema, we've started from scratch here, so it's a very new team. Everything has been built up here, so there's a lot of challenges, a lot of teething issues, but we're starting to find the momentum. Obviously, I think it started with Roberts qualifying at the Indy 500, maybe Barber before that. I started to feel some good pace, and yeah, slowly working through those little things and issues that we've had, and hopefully we can put it all together today.
Yeah, it looks like the team has been making fantastic progression from St. Pete, where the cars didn't really want to be cars. I was at that race. It was sad to see. What you guys are accomplishing now is incredible.
Yeah, it's very impressive. The car feels way more normal than it used to. I've been knocking on the door of the top 10s the last 3 races we just had, whether it's strategy, fuel, the wheel gun in Detroit, and yeah, the disqualification in Indy. But we would have had 3 great results, and it would be a different story right now. But we've just got to keep that momentum and change the narrative.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm going to go now.
I just realized the Prema lineup in general is
Yes, it is. Yes, they're
That
both
just-
there.
that
They
just
are
clicked
both.
in my brain.
Yeah. They took 2 full-time WEC drivers and slapped them into IndyCar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun just getting to talk to people in the paddock after warm-up. That was a really great experience because it wasn't right before the race. They really weren't stressed out about anything. You know, they had just shaken down the car for the race. So that was good. And then obviously Alex Palou won the race. Because it's 2025 IndyCar, so Alex Palou wins races.
Or Kyle Kirkwood.
Or Kyle Kirkwood, but
That's your 2 options.
predominantly Alex
Yeah.
Palou. He was in the red car, which, if you saw the Ganassi announcement, was just a bunch of people tweeting red car, because it's, at this point, it almost feels like it's an inside joke between the team and a small group of fans on social media, and that they did the livery for, obviously the livery was advertising Solo, right? The red cups. But the choice of doing a red car really did feel like fan homage, which is cool. And it was really awesome to A, be at the race that had red car, and then B, for the car to win. So after the race, it was, we all me and the group of people that I had met up with there, not the people I went to the race with, but just a bunch of people I know from online that I met up with there, went up to the podium, and one of the Ganassi team members came over. I had on full Kyffin Simpson stuff, so full Ganassi kit, not Palou, but still full Ganassi kit, and handed me the red cup. They weren't handing them out. I just somehow got a red cup. And, just had it, and was, because they were playing Red Solo Cup, the song, so I was, goofing off with it. And then after the podium, Alex came down and was signing stuff and, tossing hats out into the crowd. He is a much better hat tosser than Kevin. So, Kevin, I've got you another hat throwing instructor, actually. Both of you will be at Petite, my cup. Both of you will be at Petite, so I feel like we might need to have a hat throwing competition. I'm gonna see how I'm gonna get this set up, but Alex Palou, Kevin Estra hat throwing competition, Petite Le Mans 2025, sponsored by the Orange Flag podcast, because I'll just bring some hats.
The recommendations of teachers for Kevin are just getting more and more out there. It feels like it started
with, we are going to play Frisbee with Kevin, and now it's turned into every other racing driver we've seen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Tom Ingram is a more ridiculous suggestion than Alex Palou.
I was gonna say, it started with our recommendation of Frisbee. Then it went to recommendation of Jam, which is his teammate.
Yes.
Then it went a little more extreme. Now it's less extreme.
With a British touring car driver who is not going to be at any races with Kevin.
Yeah. Now it's a little less extreme.
But Kevin and Alex will both be at Petite, so we could, in fact, orchestrate a hat throwing thing. All of Alex's hats made it into the crowd. Did they all go perfectly straight and maybe exactly where he wanted them to go? No, but they made it into the crowd, and they did not loop back around. So
there were no boomerang hats.
There were no boomerang hats.
That's what counts.
But yes, after when he was doing all of that, I did get the cup signed, and I got him to write red car on it. Because of course I got him to write red car on it. So yeah, I mean, all in all, Road America was an awesome experience. Highly recommend going to that track for whatever series you can go to. IMSA's gonna be there really soon. If it wasn't, in Wisconsin and really far away, I would totally debate going to that. Could wear my Cam Jam No Kevin shirt.
Yeah.
But in fact, I probably won't be doing that because it's, is in fact far away. I still have my Kyffin hat on. I'm doing that Ganassi and Penske thing again. Because, I mean, that is just kind of my brand at this point, is that I will mix random Ganassi and Penske stuff.
Yeah. That's
I
yours.
can't help that.
Mine is mixing PPM and MSR. There's just going to be weird mixes no matter what. Expect it from the pod.
Exactly. Because we're fun like that.
Sure. We'll go with that. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. On Twitter, Nicole is at Nicole on Racing. Austin is at Hendrick Claren. And Aries is at Aries_Alpenclough.
Stay orange.